Hello everyone, there's a bit of a transfer mess going on at West Ham right now. As usual, it feels like a scattergun approach. One moment the focus is Mateus Fernandes, the next it's Quinten Timber, and now Edson Álvarez is officially joining Fenerbahce. In between all that, there's been a whole list of midfielders we've been linked to throughout the window. The shortlist seems to change every single day. Casado, Mukau, Schmid, Chukwuemeka, even Hackney at Middlesbrough has been mentioned. Potter's plan is simple. He wants two midfielders, one to sit deep and control play, another more advanced who can drive us forward. But at this rate, the way things are going, we might end up with none, especially when our so-called improved bid for Fernandes turned out to be just 2 million more. That's not really improved, is it? At the back, it's no karma. Mavropanos might be off to Villarreal, and Wan-Bissaka is close to committing to DR Congo, which means he'll be off to AFCON mid-season. Then you add the Sunderland defeat, with Graham Potter himself admitting he's worried about a lack of leaders in the squad, fans fuming at the board, financial restrictions hanging over deals, and a brutal run of fixtures on the horizon. So in this video, we'll go through it all step by step to make sense of what's really happening behind the mess. So, let's start with the big news. Edson Álvarez to Fenerbahce is done. The deal is officially an initial loan with a buy option around 22 million euros, which would mean a loss on what we paid for him. He's flying out today for medical tests, and the key reason he chose Fener was Jose Mourinho pushing hard to sign him, and of course European football, so that's one big piece of the midfield puzzle confirmed. Now let's get into the rest of that puzzle. Things went a bit crazy recently when it came out that West Ham had bids in for multiple players on the same day. Mateus Fernandes was confirmed as one of them, and he's a player we've been chasing all summer. The first offer went in at 28 million plus add-ons, and then we followed it up with what was called an improved bid of 30 plus 2. But let's be real, adding just 2 million more isn't exactly going to change Southampton's mind. They didn't even flinch. They've been very clear from the start. Fernandes won't leave unless their much higher valuation is met. So now the focus has turned elsewhere. On the same day that bid was dismissed, Quinten Timber suddenly became a serious option. He's 24, only has a year left on his Feyenoord contract, and he's already rejected multiple extensions. Robin van Persie even stripped him of the captaincy because of it. Timber has been pushing for a Premier League move all summer, and Feyenoord know they could lose him for nothing next year if they don't sell now. There is a risk though. Earlier this year, Timber had surgery on a lateral ligament injury, and that sort of knock always raises questions about long-term fitness. On top of that, Arsenal are keeping an eye on him, and with his twin brother Jurien already there, that link makes sense. So that's the picture. Fernandes looks out of reach, Timber is now firmly in the frame, and with Edson Álvarez edging towards the exit, the plan is still to bring in two midfielders before the window closes. The plan, as we've heard, is still to bring in two midfielders before the window shuts, and Graham Potter himself has made it clear what he wants. One player who can sit deep and control the game, and another who can operate further forward with a bit more creativity. The problem is, with the way things are going right now, it feels like we might end up with none. The names being thrown around pretty much change by the day. We know the club have made bids for Marc Casado at Barcelona, and of course Fernandes at Southampton. An approach for Chelsea's Andre Santos was flat out rejected, and we were told not to even bother coming back in. Romano Schmid at Werder Bremen is on the radar. Carney Chukwuemeka at Chelsea has been mentioned too, and Potter knows him from his time there. And then you've got Hayden Hackney at Middlesbrough, who isn't as established but has a lot of fans online saying we should go for him as a cheaper option. An ex-West Ham employee reports he's thought to be available for around £20 million. Gal Ayol Mukau at Lille is another serious target, especially after impressing against us in pre-season. And he seems like the type the club could realistically move for. The problem is, we keep hearing about all these names, but nothing's actually over the line. It's like a revolving door of midfielders. Bid here, link there, rejection somewhere else. At this point, it feels like the list of players West Ham haven't been linked with is shorter than the list they have. Now let's talk about the defense, because it's looking just as shaky. Mavropanos might be off to Villarreal, and if that deal happens, West Ham would be left with only Kilman, Agard, and Todibo as recognized centre-backs. That is nowhere near enough cover for a long Premier League season. And even where we do have bodies, there are more issues coming. Wan-Bissaka has applied for his DR Congo passport and is close to linking up internationally. That means he'd be away for AFCON in January, along with a few others in the squad. So not only are we light on numbers now, we're going to be even lighter in the middle of the season when fixtures are already piling up. It paints a picture of a backline that's one injury or one suspension away from a real crisis. Then there's what happened at Sunderland, which only added to the pressure around the club. Losing 3-0 to a newly promoted side is bad enough, but it was the manner of the defeat that set alarm bells ringing. Jared Bowen, now captain, said afterwards that he was fuming and admitted the goals we gave away were far too soft. He spoke about how the fans had every right to be disappointed and demanded more from the players. Graham Potter himself came out and said he's worried about the lack of leaders in the squad, and you can see why. With Cresswell, Kufal, Antonio and Fabianski all gone, there aren't many senior voices left in the dressing room. Potter's record since coming in doesn't help either. Just 5 wins from 19 league games. That kind of form only ramps up the frustration among supporters. The thing is, when you step back and look at the squad as a whole, it doesn't feel balanced. 8 senior players have gone this summer, and only 4 have come in. Out of those, really only Diouf and Hermansen have nailed down starting spots so far. Up front, it looks hella light. Right now, it's basically Wilson, Bowen, Fulkrug and Somerville carrying the attack. That's not a group with much depth, and if injuries hit, we'd be in real trouble. The sale of Mohamed Kudus to Spurs hasn't helped either. It was an unpopular move the moment it happened, and watching him hit the ground running in North London has only made it worse. All of this has left the squad looking weaker than it should, especially when you add the fact that Alvarez has left and Mavropanos might be out too. The gaps are clear in midfield, in defense, and in attack, and that's why there's so much pressure on the club to get business done before the window closes. And if all that wasn't enough, just look at the run of fixtures coming up. Chelsea at home, then Forest, Spurs, Palace, Everton and Arsenal. West Ham haven't beaten Chelsea, Forest or Spurs in the league since December 2023, so it's hardly the kind of schedule you want when the squad is thin and confidence is already shaky. This run could really shape how fans feel about Potter going into the rest of the season. The board say they'll back him, but if the performances don't improve and the points don't come, the pressure will only grow. So to sum it up, it's a transfer mess on every front. Fernandes looks gone, Timber is the new focus, Alvarez is now gone, the short list of midfielders changes almost daily, the defense is on a knife edge, the attack is short on numbers, and the fixtures are brutal. The big question now is whether West Ham can get at least 2 midfielders in before the deadline and hold on to enough defensive cover to get through the season. Anyways, that's all for today. It's great to be back and uploading videos on this channel. I know it's a bit crap at the moment, but I am really hoping things pick up. If you like this video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, then remember to subscribe. See you in the next one.